Thanks so much for taking the time to speak to me today.
Of
I've
course.
I've been following you guys. So Dan sent me Boys in the Club like in the middle of the pandemic, and he was like, you have to hear this song. I don't know if you know who these people are, but you have to hear this song." And I was instantly like hooked. I was like, I don't know where this came from, but this is absolutely amazing, and I want more of it. And he just kept sending me more music. And I appreciate that because it introduced me to like you guys. What you guys are doing is just so incredibly unique. Um,
So much. That's nice.
Especially when there's like so much like. Don't get me wrong, I love tech house, and I love air horn tech house, and I love big room tech house. But there's so much of it going on right now. It's nice to hear
Yeah.
somebody doing something refreshingly different. And that's like truly their own. So respect. I think. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So I always like to start off by like I kind of like to follow a timeline with these. And you guys had an early connection with music through your family and the Sherman Brothers band. How did that early influence pave the way for you to get into music out on a professional level?
I think because we saw my dad and my uncles rehearse and make the outfits and do everything themselves, like I kind of already knew that that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And our lullaby was the metronome from the Atari.
Oh yeah,
That's,
that's true. That's traumatized.
like
I hear it sometimes.
my dad was making music while we were like
Yeah,
in the room trying to sleep, and it was just
yeah,
all day, every day there was just music.
yeah.
So you were just surrounded by not just music, but by like people actually making music all the time.
Yeah,
Yes,
making, and if
making
they
it.
weren't making the music, they were making the clothes. If they weren't making
They
the
were
clothes, they were
rehearsing
rehearsing.
dance moves and everything. So, and then the shows. Yeah.
And
So
how
we introduced to it by a young age. We were doing my dad's backing vocals for his shows as well. As soon as we were, I think it was about 13 or something.
that was going to be my next question. How early did you guys get on stage? But wow, by as soon as
Well,
you were
I was
able.
right, and a really, really bad one. So I could have started really much earlier, but when I was 13, he just put a pile of money on the table and said, "If you do the backing vocals, this is all
You can
yours.
earn this.
You can earn this, but only if you do it." I was like, you should have done that a long time ago. Okay, let's go.
While I was working at Pizza Hut trying to earn $5 an hour, she got like a pile of money for like
So how fast did you quit Pizza Hut when you saw this?
I had to learn how to sing first.
Yeah, he wasn't even interested in singing. I think
Really?
he was like, you were like 15, 16 or something
Yeah,
like that. I
I
was
started
18 by
late.
then. And then I said, because I knew he had a good ear. Like
Yeah.
if something was off, he'd turn around and look at you like, no, that's not no, that's not right. So at one point I just sat down and said, okay, listen, I know you can sing, but it's about practicing.
Yeah.
If you can hear that something's wrong and
You're
you
halfway
pull
there.
out a whole note, you can sing.
Yeah.
So okay, let's do it. And I remember we started with this Tony Braxton song. Oh, was it Unbreak My Heart?
I think that was one of the first songs.
Yeah.
Oh
We said, okay,
man,
let's
that's a
do it.
big tune.
No register, so let's go. We sat down and was like, he can sing. And then I think maybe 3 months later, we started this R&B group called.
No. Before they invited her for a singing competition
Oh
from
yeah,
the
yeah.
islands,
Oh yeah,
like
that was the first
Curacao,
one.
Aruba, and Bonaire. They had
Yeah.
they had like a singing competition
Yeah.
Yeah.
between the
Love
islands,
and Peace. Or,
Love and Peace
Love and
Festival,
yeah.
and then they invited her to participate in the contest.
Yeah.
And she said, "No, I'm only doing it if I can do a duet with Andy." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And that's how we
And
did.
then we did that, and it was like,
Endless love.
endless love, and it was like, okay, no, this is all right. And then I think 3 months later, we started an R&B group, and from there on, it was our first gigs and stuff and clubs and stuff.
I love that. I love that you like kind of like tricked him into doing this.
Like my dad tricked her and she tricked me.
Yes, you passed on the, but also that like you guys got into this as as a family because that's something that carried on from like how you guys saw this.
Yeah.
How did you guys like fall in love with dance music? Because you started off as an R&B group, but then where did this like
But there's
pivot?
there's so much more in between. We did the R&B thing, and we also did Motown shows,
In
like
Right,
in
Spain.
Spain and Greece, and he used to be the front singer of Out for Dodger.
right.
You know,
I heard I did read
and
that.
so and because of that, I fell in love with garage music. And then when you moved back to Holland, he was doing MC. He was an MC at house parties, and once I heard that, I was like, okay, let me see what it's about. And then after seeing him a few times on stage, he was like, go on, sing a few songs,
Yeah.
trick me again.
Yeah.
I knew it. I became an MC, but I didn't like that because you can only sing to the songs that they allow you to sing to. So it was like,
Right.
no, I don't like that. So I didn't like it. So within 6 months, it's like, no, man, let's forget this. And then he said, why don't we just do it ourselves? Because he was already playing. His friend was a DJ, so
Right.
he already knew how the decks work and everything. So that was the next step. So okay, let's do it ourselves.
Nice. That's so awesome that you guys are like, hey, it's opportunity is there. You might as well make it happen yourselves. You want to sing the songs that you want to sing, right?
Yeah, and make it fun. So yeah, that's how it
Yeah.
began. Yeah.
And when you guys started producing, it was a very different time in dance music. It was like big room was the
Mhm.
thing for house music at the time. Like traditional house music was definitely still on the underground. Um, and you guys got a chance to work with some of the biggest artists of that era, like Avicii and Fetty Legrand. What's the biggest lesson you learned while being in the midst of like this EDM explosion that really kind of got the dance music community to where it is today?
You know,
Hmm.
the EDM period for us, I think it really gave us the chance to know what we stand for.
Mm,
And the music that we made at that time, we wouldn't play it ourselves. Like we never
mm,
played it at our parties or we never played it in the car. So we did it as a job,
right.
with all the respect for everything that happened in those years with us, because we learned so much and we had so much fun, but we never felt it was ours. We always felt
Mm,
like we had somebody else's shoes on,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah,
wow.
that's exactly how it
That is
felt.
that
Yeah,
is so well said.
Yeah, I'm doing it, but I don't
it's
know.
true. It's true.
And then, yeah, at a certain point, we just said, Dorothy, this is not making us happy.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, it's paying the bills, but we're not in the music for the money, because we were in the music because we want to express ourselves and
And make
tell
music that you like.
that you like, you
Yeah.
Yeah.
know? So when we said we're gonna restart everything, everybody looked at us, but guys, you guys are making money and you guys are making a living out of it. And we said no. So that's how we just
Yeah.
restarted all over again. And in that period, my production skills weren't where I wanted them to be, because I always need a co-producer or someone to
Right.
mix it. And then we said, you know what? In the next 5 years, we're just gonna learn how to produce, see how we can make a sound that we stand for. And
Yeah.
we really took the energy that we learned with the EDM vibe, because we know
Right.
that with the big crowds, we were addicted to the energy, but
Right.
we weren't addicted to the music. So we knew we had to make something that still has energy to work
Mm-hmm.
with the crowd,
Right.
but without, yeah, the elements of the music that we did in the past.
Absolutely. I think that's really important that you mentioned that too, because it feels like you kind of started at ahead of everybody that may have started making this kind of house music at the beginning, because you had this background of understanding what works on a dance floor and seeing how a crowd reacts to not just the sound but just that feeling of energy. And that really puts you guys like leagues ahead. And then you were also doing something that you really believed in. Was that transition, that period of transition, difficult for you guys professionally?
Absolutely.
Hardest time ever.
Yeah, it
Hardest
was
time.
hard. And even some boys was like, okay, um, how long is it gonna take for it to go? Because I'm starting to kind of lose inspiration, or
And funds.
Yeah.
and funds and
Yeah,
funds
yeah.
and funds. Like, okay, this is all, I finally like what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's hard.
but
It's
yeah,
like, but
Something needs to happen now. So
yeah,
yeah.
well, I mean, it's hard. It's hard to believe in what you're doing and not see yourself breaking that
Mhm.
barrier to where it's actually starting to move forward, to getting back to that place where you were before, where you feel professionally fulfilled, but
Mhm.
also musically fulfilled. When do you feel like that started to happen for you?
The thing is, because we came from that scene,
Hmm.
it was hard for us to get into the house scene.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Because
I can imagine.
they said, you
Yeah.
either need to change your name, change
Yeah.
the whole, and we said no, we're not gonna change our name. And it all changed when
Bomini, I think.
yeah, I saw Jamie Jones at a festival in Holland,
Yeah.
and I took a picture with him. But that was way before we started our Shermanology thing. And then I got his email from someone, and I just sent him the picture. And I told him, yo, I met you a couple of years at Extrema. I've got a few tracks here for you. Let me know. And yeah, he replied, Joe, I want all three of them. And when that
Wow.
happened, that's when we knew, like, okay, the sound that we're making
Yeah.
is working for the scene. And
Yeah.
that's how everything changed. Because at first we did an
It was
EP
hot as well.
with Hot.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I sent it to Jamie, and then he replied like 2 months after, yo, I want to sign it, but I already signed it to Authentic. And everybody told me, no, Andy, you know what? Just sign it to Jamie. And I said, no, I already signed it to Authentic. So we went with that, and Jamie supported the record by playing it. And
Yeah.
that's how everything started rolling from that point. So Jamie, thank you.
Thank you.
Also what a smart move, because you didn't like blow up the relationship with Authentic just because Jamie said that he wanted to sign these records, but as a result, you established two really great relationships with two really amazing labels that have been able to support you like ongoing, and they're so well respected in house music that this was just like a benefit for you guys in so many ways. And I want to talk about Bombini, because that was like that was like my next question. You were able to inject that with so much of of you as people and your culture, and I think that's really important, because it's something. House music is Black music, and it's not something we see culturally injected into house music as often these days, as I would like to see it, as other people would, as other Black people would probably like to see it. And I think that may be a reason why there's a barrier between understanding that house music is Black music and seeing house music being pushed by so many white people.
Mhm.
Why has it been? And I feel like that's something that keeps coming up in your music and everything that you guys do. There's this really firm cultural element.
Yes.
Why is it so important that you guys continue to do that as part of this?
I think. Oh, sorry. You want to?
No, go ahead.
Yeah,
Go
you
ahead.
sure?
Yeah.
So for us, like me and Dorothy, we have one rule: is would we dance to it?
Mm.
You know, and a lot of music that we make is based on R&B, a house that we used to listen to when we used to go to the clubs over here,
Mhm.
and our favorite DJs over here were like, yeah, Black guys who used to mix funk with hip hop and house, and we just missed that. It became two separate worlds. It became hip hop, R&B, electronic, and we're like, why?
Yeah.
I think also, if I look at the people that I know who are not into house music, like the Black people that I know,
Yeah.
most of them don't even know that there are more genres within house music. Like, is this house? Like, yeah, this is also.
Yeah.
And he was like,
They
no
think
way.
house is trance.
Yes, like
Oh
no way.
yeah.
No, so this like so I think a big problem, let's call it a problem, is that a lot of Black people don't even know that there is also house music that they probably will like.
Yeah. Oh, agree. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. I That's
Interesting.
so
Yeah.
yeah, that's so interesting that you said that. And like now that I think about it, when I first started getting into dance music, I think that was the conversation I had with a lot of people too. It's like everybody thinks of like heavy techno or trance or like the mainstream stuff, and they think that is all of dance music, and
Yeah.
it's so not. It's so incredibly broad that
Mhm.
they may be missing so much of the conversation if they maybe just like dove a little bit deeper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But a lot of times they don't know where to look.
And I
Mm.
understand
You
that.
know,
I was
so
one of those people.
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
so was I at
I
one
was one
point.
of like
Yeah.
house music. No, until I heard like Afro house and like the like the more bass driven house.
Yeah.
I didn't know until I heard it. So it was like, okay. And then I found out that most people that I know that don't know house music, that there's also a part of it that they will love. So
Absolutely.
part is
And
different.
while we're on the subject, now that like and house music is kind of having a moment right now with like Drake and Beyonce supporting it. Um, I think that it's a great thing for everybody involved. You know, maybe it's not so great that people think that like Drake and Beyonce are revitalizing house music because the dance music underground has been here for a really long time.
Yeah.
But I think that overall, this is a really great thing for two well-known Black artists to come in and say this is a culturally relevant art form and we need to do stuff. We need to support it.
Yeah,
How do you guys feel about it?
I love that. I love that.
yeah. I think it's gonna open a lot of doors. You
Mhm.
know, we're gonna gain a lot of, not we as a scene
Mhm.
are gonna gain a lot of new fans.
Mhm.
Like you said, people that didn't even know that it could be soulful, you
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
and it's a great thing, you know. I hope that the underground just keeps making cool music. If people want to do the commercial side, that's good.
Go for it. Yeah.
Oh, but we should never
Yeah.
lose the underground,
Mhm.
because if we lose the underground, that's when it gets complicated. And then
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
know, it will be over in a couple of years. So yeah, we need to keep feeding
The underground.
the dance floor.
Yeah.
100%. I love to hear that. That's exactly how I feel.
All right.
Nice.
So fun fact, I read that you both studied martial arts.
Yeah. That's true.
You big,
You really, I don't know where you
where
got
did you
that,
find
but
that?
but it's true. We used to do this sport called Pencak Silat,
Yeah.
and
And
I loved it. He
so
was the champion 3 times actually.
that's crazy. But also somebody else that you guys are generally associated with, Laid Back Luke, also studies martial arts.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So who would win in a fight?
Laid back Luke.
Ooh, lay back because I don't do it anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
No, he's like a pro.
Yeah,
He
he's a
still
pro.
does it daily.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. No, no.
You
I'm not gonna mess with him. I'm not gonna
know,
mess with
turn around and run away.
Yes,
him.
yes, run hard.
That's funny. I didn't expect that one.
I always like to throw a fun one in there, just
That's
a
good.
sidewinder.
That's good.
I always like to wrap things up by asking what excites you about the future of dance music.
You know what just happened?
Yeah, I can tell you. It just happened an hour ago.
Really?
We just got back from this Thai restaurant. I picked the Thai restaurant. We had a meeting there, and I was sitting at the table, and somebody came in and sat down like right in front of me, and I was like, I know this face. He had on this bucket hat and big glasses. I was like, that, not even your bucket hat and your glasses will have you fooled. So I took him. I said, Andy, I think that's Anderson .Paak, right? I said, I'll just wait until he smiles. Then I'll be sure because
Yeah.
he has a beautiful big smile. And then he smiles like, it's him. I was sitting with the people of a bookings agency. It's like, who do you want to work with? I just turned around and said, with him. He's like, why him? Because that's Anderson .Paak. He's like, who's Anderson? No, I mean, he didn't know at first.
Wasn't computing.
Like, so what excites me is what we want to do in the future, and I hope it'll be the near future, is collaborate with artists that you wouldn't expect us to collaborate with. Like,
Yeah.
for example, if I could dream big and say Anderson .Paak, that would be something that would excite me. So if we could make those combinations with our own sound, that's something that excites me.
I want to work with people who maybe said I will never do a house record, and make them do a house record. You know, just mix and blend different genres, like the Bombini.
Even different cultures. That's
yeah,
what I said.
like
Bombini is what was it?
The original was Bulgarian, and then we translated it in our language and redid the vocals. But the original was in Bulgarian.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg
with D-Smoke. They had this song called Gaspar Yanga.
Yeah.
And it was on repeat, and all I could hear are the vocals of that song. And then I told Andy, I'm gonna dive into this. And then I found the acapella. And I sent it to him. We're like, we have to do something with this. And then we said, I'm gonna translate it into our own language, because I have no idea what they're singing about. But let's just make it out. So.
And the funny thing is, we signed the record to Jamie with the Bulgarian sample.
Yeah.
And then we couldn't clear it. And the guys who made the track were like, no, we're not gonna let you use the track. So we redid the whole vocal in that way. In that week, a friend of ours passed away.
Yeah.
And we said, let's write this lyric for our friend who passed away.
Yeah.
And we redid the whole track in our own language. And then the original songwriter said, you know what, guys, if you guys covered it like this,
it's a go.
Go ahead and do your thing. And that's how
I studied those vocals like for a week for sure. Like on my headphones, like, because you have to imitate every little thing.
Yeah, all
the voices. So no, man, I'm going to dissect this whole thing.
That is an amazing story.
Get it like to sound almost identical.
I have people that hit me up like, oh shit, they use your song for the NBA. I'm like, no,
that's not my song.
That wasn't ours. That was the original sample.
Oh my god, that is an amazing story.
It's funny. It's funny.
I love that. That like defines you as a duo. That kind of story in my head is like what defines you as a duo. Not just like the idea to turn this into something of your own, but like the tenacity to be like, okay, they didn't want to make this work. Well, we'll make it work. And we'll figure this out. Like all of that is so defining to you guys.
Thank you so
much.
I love it. Thank you so much.
For having us.
Yeah, absolutely. I really appreciate it. That's all I have for you. But again, thank you so much for taking the time out to speak to me today. Like, I'm the managing editor for the site, and I generally I assign out a lot of stories. And this was one personally that I wanted to do. So
that's
dope. Yeah, as soon as this one came across, I was like, no, this one's mine.
That's dope. Nice.
Yeah, so I really appreciate it. And I'm gonna do my damnedest to make it out. I live in Oakland, so I'm gonna do my damnedest to make it out to Elro just to see you guys play. But thank you so much for taking the time out to speak to me.
Thank you so much.
We hope to see you there, and thank you.
We're looking for you.
Yes. I am going to convince my wife today. I'm like, hey, I got to take a work trip. It's only for one day, but I need to go to New York to make this happen. So.
Yes.